We are seeing now, and some of my colleagues in the team will know I keep banging on about this, so forgive me, but there is, if you think about it, in a 3 to 5 year period that we've experienced recently, things like Facebook, Twitter, Google, and all the other technologies that none of us saw coming, and there are others coming as well. So the organizational and cultural change is really something we observe at someone like Visa, which is a technology company. We're not a credit card company. We're not a bank. We're a non-profit making association with the technology, the rules, the products, and the marketing behind it all. And what we seek through these sort of events is to actually look forward and see what your needs are. So when those technologies are coming up, that we're ready for them, and also sometimes like chip and pin, contactless, and also multi-application chips, to sometimes preempt what is coming. But if I'm honest, there was a survey recently that said technology graduates at the moment, when surveyed on 4-year courses, are saying that about 50% of what they learned is now out of date. So again, that maybe just shows how fast-paced everything is. And if you are receptive to that and willing culturally and organizationally to change, then of course we'll all benefit, because ultimately we're all citizens as well. So in terms of today, we're not here to sell. We can't sell. It's listen, not sell. And in terms of what we're trying to achieve by being involved in an event like this is to share the efficiency agenda. So in terms of where we sit in Visa, a lot of people have made a few trips to get here and actually gone on planes, which I noticed wasn't surveyed, so maybe that accounts for a few people. And also those of you who drove. Obviously, you all got a taxi, you didn't respond, clearly. But anyway, what I'll do to start off before handing over to Bruce, who's come over from the States and runs the GSA Smart Pay program, which is the equivalent of the government procurement card in the States. And he's got a few messages from the Department of Defense and other peer groups that you probably relate to better than anything I could say, because if I'm honest, I've been seconded to public sector, but I've never actually worked as a civil servant. So we've always had to ask people for input. Bruce has the luxury of having been a civil servant for most of his career. But before going any further, we do get a bit passionate about this. I've been told to keep it down to 2 minutes, and it's already 3, so I'm going to rattle through very quickly. This is a very interactive session. A number of the members of the team who are here, not only Visa people, but basically our strategic partners, the companies that we go to and say, what do you think if you were us? We're really asking you today, what would you do if you were us? And we're looking for that sort of feedback. As I say, we cannot sell you anything, but what you say conditions what we do in terms of products and in terms of our services, which we then take to our banks, and the banks are the ones who fight for your business. There are no banks here today. They wanted to come, but we said no, to give you that complete detachment from the possibility of someone pitching. So it is hopefully going to be two-way. And also the sort of things that we're interested in is our technology has been developed on the back of the, you may remember, the MOD padlock. Does anybody, from a show of hands, remember the MOD padlock? Yeah, they're the old Visa guys. Yeah, we were there. 1997, National Audit Office identified, it was in the FT and a few other places, that a padlock had cost £73.50 to procure. I've never seen that padlock, not on the shelves. It was 98 pence. If I'm honest, that probably hasn't changed much, both in public and private sector, because the process is very similar. Whether you're using electronic procurement or manual procurement, time is money. So efficiency is all about not only giving you the ability to do things quicker and give more service to the citizen, but it's also about driving the transparency about who is buying, from whom, how much, and when. And that's every time you use a Visa payment tool, that footprint is immediately captured. So it's a totally transparent system, so you've got total compliance there. And again, in going forward, what we're looking to do is make sure that the new technologies do complement that. Whether you're buying something online, or buying a book, or whether you're in a shop handing over a physical piece of plastic, it should work every single time. So in terms of just very quickly, I'm not going to rattle through the various people from Visa and our partner companies who are here to help and will be mingling throughout the morning and the afternoon and hopefully contributing something and listening to you about the sort of things you feel the efficiency agenda would apply to anything. Some of it may apply to Visa, some of it won't, but we're interested in the entire big picture. So before handing over to Bruce, if I can ask Johnny Holden to stand up, who is our Head of Government Services for Europe and is responsible for the government procurement card. And also what I decided, guys, was I wouldn't say how many years, because obviously it's a bit in gallons and all the rest of it. Anyway, Johnny's been doing it for 20 years, so there's a lot of us been doing this a long time. And also was very much in at the beginning of the GPC. Linda Drizga, who has come over flying from Chicago, who has got multiple responsibilities, which I am going to have to read out, I'm afraid. But Linda is responsible for global product management in the large and mid-market sectors. And also commercial product launches, the multinational program, and the commercial and prepaid government programs as well. So again, an immense amount of knowledge there, and she has very little spare time. And Luke Janssen sends his apologies. We're all expecting Luke. He's unavoidably detained at the office, who is our head of commercial, will be joining us hopefully later on. Phil Serene and Con Heary, who I think are near the back, work in our relationship management team. They're the guys who talk to the banks on a daily basis. So if you really want to get a message across to your banks, they're the guys. Phil has been leading on a one-to-one process of talking to GPC users and listening and learning and not actually having to sell. So again, Phil and Con have been around doing this a long time, and in fact, Con was in at the beginning as well. And also in terms of the external partners, Russell Green, Russell is the Managing Director of PCCL, responsible for the solution software and the GPC website. His background is public sector. In procurement was in Sterling Council, the first council to launch a purchasing card in Europe. So he's been doing it a very long time as well. Andrew Watson, Managing Director of Veritas Consulting Europe. Andrew also has immense knowledge, was an original architect of the government procurement card and was around when we were looking at the padlock and was involved in all the evolution of that, and also in Telelink Spend Management, which is one of our management information softwares, has been very much driven by Andrew. And also Ian Waugh, who is over there manning one of the cameras. Ian is responsible, he's MD of iBright Media, for some of the films you're going to see. I'll round off on this point. What we try to do at Visa is have you tell us, and therefore the banks and the market, not only what you're doing, but also what you need. And some of the films, we were never there. They're not scripted, and hopefully you'll see some of that now. So anyway, rattling through that, it gives me great pleasure, and in fact, I am on time, 17 minutes past, just. To introduce Bruce Sullivan. I'll leave Bruce to explain and give something of his background, who's come over from Washington. And what we're trying to do through this part of the session is just illustrate the fact that the GPC, the government procurement card, the Visa participation is not a British phenomena, it is a global phenomena. The US government effectively invented purchasing cards, invented GPC. I guess you had the same version of a padlock and someone said, enough, we need to fix that, while still maintaining control of who is buying, from whom, how much, and when. So thank you for your attention so far, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. And I'll now hand over to Bruce Sullivan.